Have you been finding that you've had triggers over smaller things like a text or an email? It may be that you're having empath triggers. I'll explain what that is and I'll walk you through it and show you how to deal with it. Hi there, beautiful souls. I'm Michèle Duquet. Welcome to my channel, Soulful and Unplugged, a channel about the spiritual awakening journey where I show you how to live a more joyful life by helping you navigate your human journey through your soul's perspective. And this is Roxy. If you're curious about your own empathic ability and if you want to know if you're an empath, I've created a playlist for empaths and I will link that playlist up here as well as in the descriptions below. I decided to make this video because a lot of my friends and clients have been going through this, and I myself have been going through this. And what's been happening is we receive a text or an email communication, we have an emotional reaction to it, a trigger, but then this stays in us for days. So you can ask yourself if this is yours or it's not. There are key questions you can ask yourself to find out if it is yours. But what happens as an empath is that you absorb someone else's energy because they are not aware of that energy. You absorb basically the emotion that they're not in touch with. You can sense exactly what's going on with them, but they're not aware of it. They're just not in touch with it. And as an empath, you naturally absorb it in order to heal it. Well, if it stays in you for days, that's not good. If we can figure out what's ours and what's not quicker with a few key questions, we can have a much easier time of it. I just want to touch on a little bit now about why this may be happening more and more. Because we've been in lockdown, we've been isolated. What's happened is we have been isolated from our usual social interactions. Our busy lives have been restricted, and without these incredibly important social interactions and hugs and just, connection, everything becomes magnified. So a text is a magnified form of communication all of a sudden. An email, a phone call, every nuance in a tone of voice has a greater impact because our lives have been so affected by this isolation that we've all been living through. So this is why this is coming up right now. And as empaths, our energetic sensibilities are heightened more than ever. We may think, well, wait a second, how can I be empathic when it's only been, on the phone or through Zoom or through a text? Energy is energy, and we still, of course, absorb energy just like before, and we still need to deal with it. Okay, so here's what I do. Let's say I receive a text and I have an interchange with that person or an interaction with that person, and I'm left with a very uncomfortable feeling. I need to figure out, well, is this mine? So I ask myself, has this activated my people pleaser? Because I have had issues with being a people pleaser like years ago. Every once in a while that is activated in me just because I still need to, heal that part of myself. I can ask myself if it's a people pleaser by thinking about, was I censoring myself? Was I not saying what I wanted to say? Was I overthinking the text? Was I trying to be overly polite or overly cautious? Then that's on me. The second question I ask myself, is this a codependent moment? What I mean by that is, if the person is edgy, if the person is emotional or angry, a codependent moment is when I'm not okay until that person is not angry anymore. The thing is, I can be okay not angry, and they can be okay angry. I don't need to have my day ruined because someone else's emotion is impacting me negatively. If I was at peace before I had an interaction with someone, and that interaction caused me to be not at peace because I'm upset that they're upset, that's codependency. And I do need to work on that. It's rare that it does come up. I'm usually quite centered and grounded in my own self, in where I am at. But sometimes I do need to work on it, and that's when I know, okay, this is not an empathic trigger. I'm not being triggered as an empath. I'm not trying to heal the situation as an empath. I'm actually being reminded that I still have some work to do on myself. So how do you recognize what's not yours? If you are grounded in how you're feeling, you feel at peace, you feel calm, you feel quite centered, and then a text all of a sudden blasts through, and the way it is worded and the way it is communicated is impactful to you in a negative way. You were feeling good before. You were feeling centered before. And, you spend the time to text back in a way that is, loving and kind, but all of a sudden you're left with something that a fraction of a second before the text, you weren't feeling. That's not yours. As an empath, you have triggered your empathic abilities to absorb what was going on with the other person at the other end of the text. And we can fool ourselves into thinking, well, that's not empathic, that's just me being triggered, because it's a electronic device. And like I said before, energy is energy. The communication is being felt. You can tell the difference. Before the text, you were feeling a certain way, and then after, you're somehow carrying something somewhere in your body that wasn't there before. So that's when you know that's just not yours. The other way is, as a highly sensitive person and as an empath, you can sense the energy that you're receiving. You can tell what is going on with that other person just by feeling it. So if you feel that they are upset, but it's something to do with them, you can feel it. You can actually get a sense that it's something that they're going through. You know that that's not yours, and there's no need for you to carry that or even transmute it if you don't want to. You don't have to. I sometimes just choose not to, and I choose to let it go. And I will now tell you how to let it go. So how do you free yourself once you've absorbed someone else's energy or emotions? You're a sensitive being, so you can tell in your body where it is. Most of the time, I find that it's in this area right here, kind of in the third chakra where I hold my emotions. You may find it's in your throat, or it's maybe any other area in your body, wherever it is, in your stomach. You will feel a ball of energy that feels somewhat foreign, and that's where it'll bother you. So what you do is you focus on that area, and you really bring it to life by visualizing the energy, the color, what kind of energy is it? Is it little sparks? Is it fast moving? Is it slow? And bring it as much to life as possible. Then you bring a vortex of energy counterclockwise, and you bring it right into that area and move it faster and faster and faster and faster until the two start mixing together. And then with all of your visualization power, take that moment and send it away. There's a video on that. I'll link it up here. I've made a video on using this vortex on how to, get rid of empathic energies that just aren't yours. I know it works for me. It's very powerful. The other thing is just realizing it's not yours. Sometimes that's enough. When you realize it's not yours and you also choose not to carry it and not to heal it, you just say, you know what? It's not mine and I don't want it. Sometimes that's enough. It goes away just with that. So let me know in the comments, have you been finding that you've been going through that too because of our isolation? Have you been finding smaller things having a greater impact on you and your emotions? Are you an empath, and do you find yourself having empathic triggers or empath triggers? She's talking. She's talking. Are you talking? She's talking. So I hope you found this video helpful. Let me know if there's anything that I can further help you with, and ask me any questions in the comments, and I'll be glad to help you as much as I can. Have a wonderful week, everyone. Bye for now. Mwah. Sending lots and lots and lots of love. Say bye-bye. Bye-bye. Look. Bye-bye. Are you talking? She's talking.